Hi. No more abuse. I'm done. I'm finished. Nobody is going to do this to me ever again. Ever made that statement? How about this one? When will the pain stop? Why me? Why won't somebody see what I'm going through and help me? These are statements we make to ourselves time and time again when we are suffering, when life just seems to be throwing all the rocks and the mud and the concrete at us and we just can't move. And the abuser continues to abuse us, relentless, as though we're inanimate, we have no feelings, we have no sensibility. And all we can do is defend ourselves as best we can. And unfortunately, some people have gone beyond the point of being able to defend themselves, and we've lost them. They've got locked into their minds and no longer communicate with us in a way that makes sense. So I want to talk to you today about ways of getting through or over or past abuse, because some of you may no longer be in the situation, but it's continuing to replay in your mind. And some of you are in it and looking for a way out, and others are beginning to see signs and thinking, this doesn't seem right, but what can I do? Who can I turn to for help? And here's the worst part. If you're in a position of authority, you're well recognized as being a strong person, you know, in your community, you lead on most of the advocacy activities, or in your workplace, you're a leader who has to give instruction, has to give direction, has to reprimand people. You know, you may be afraid. People will say, who are you to tell me? Because look at you. You were pretending all this time to be strong and firm and forward and no nonsense taking. And now you're telling me you've been going through all of this. Who are you to tell me what to do? So there are some of you who are in positions where it's going to be difficult to expose what you've been going through. Nevertheless, help is available. Help is really available. Now, the first thing that actually happens is that once you've experienced a form of abuse, your automatic response is, of course, to retreat because you've been hurt. Even if at the time you were able to fight back, you would still want to retreat because the question arises, what was that about? Why me? This doesn't make sense. Now, if you're in that situation too long, you will actually start to doubt yourself and believe that you're crazy and, well, nobody's going to believe you at this point. And this is where you become a victim. So whether you're going through harassment, you're going through discrimination, you're being victimized because of something physically different about you, or you're just going through abuse because you're with a narcissist or a psychopath, you're still going to end up doubting yourself. You're still going to end up thinking, what did I do? What's the cause? And looking to the person who's hurting you for an explanation, for them to say, this is why I did it. But then think about it. Even if that person turned around and said to you, this is why I hurt you, what are you going to do next? Because you're not going to turn around and say, oh, it's okay. No, you're not. Because you are as valuable as anybody else, as valuable as the person who hurt you. So What are you going to do? I'd like to make this one statement. You are stuck. The hurt you experience was something you never expected to experience. But here's the problem why you're stuck. Although in your mature adult state you never expected to experience this, somewhere in your childhood you had been trained to expect to be harmed or struggle, or face struggle rather, or be neglected, or just be ignored as though you're invisible. Somewhere, way, way back. And it would have happened at a time when you could not have had the power to do anything about it. So now that it's happening again, you are stuck. Now, somebody who would have just gone through a loving experience, they would be baffled also. But they would have certain boundaries that said once and once alone. The reason that you're stuck is that that same question is rolling over and over and over without resolution. Why me? What did I do wrong? Now, if it's really bad, if you've always gone through neglect and abuse, then you're going to try to find a way to pacify that person rather than escape from that person. Right? That is a piece of work that's outside of my domain. But I want to bring you back to what you can do to shift from this stuck position. So you're stuck. You're in a circular question or questioning. And you know, when we go in a circle, we don't see anything new. So we'll never come across a new answer. And what you need is a new answer or an opening somewhere so that you can find a way out. The problem for most people is even when they see an opening and a way out, they don't have sufficient strength, internal strength, to take that route because the fear that the person will catch up with them is still there. This is where people like myself come in, coaches who help you to understand your emotions. So you're stuck. There's no one around because you're asking, why can't anybody see the situation I'm in and help me? That tells me there's no one around. So you've got to depend on yourself. What can you do? Well, first of all, it's about learning the lesson in the situation. And this means that you will have to face another period of pain. But this time the pain is different. It is neither self-inflicted or inflicted by another person. This time it's about shifting a memory and taking the lesson from that memory. Now, please understand this. Memories and feelings are exactly what we've stated them to be. Memories, so they have no physical form that they can hurt you. The hurt is an internal hurt where you're making a memory mean something. Feelings are the chemical signals that should ignite a form of action within, a flight or a fight. However, when you're stuck, fleeing the situation doesn't occur and fighting back doesn't occur. What actually occurs is fear, which helps you to generate more bad thoughts and ignite the memories even more so that they can replay. Or fright, where you are frozen in that position. You can't run, you can't fight. Fright is a horrible thing because it actually puts the body into overdrive. And so the body will keep on producing more and more and more adrenaline, saying there's something to be afraid of, but not allowing the body to do anything to escape. Fear is the imagination gone on overdrive, and it's linking with old memories. Now, here's the problem. those memories have been stored in the body, waiting for an instruction from you. And the instruction is this: what should we take from this as a lesson? And can we get rid of the emotion now, the chemical signal that makes us run, fight, stand still, frozen in the spot, or create a new version in our imagination of what could happen? So the things that we need to do here is just be still for a moment. Be still. And allow the feelings to arise. Because, as Napoleon Hill once said, every negative situation has a solution for us. And the solution we want in this particular scenario is to become unstuck so that we can take action to then protect ourselves. Now, this is true of every form of hurt and abuse, whether it's offense, whether it's something physically violent, whether it's mental or emotional. It's all the same. We need to become unstuck so that we can take action. So be still. Go to the place where you feel the trigger strongest. Now, some people feel the trigger in their heads, pounding headaches, or in their eyes just hurt so much. So in the head, it's about the thinking, overthinking instead of taking action. In the eyes, it's not wanting to see what is going on. Some may get it in the throat, an inability to speak out and to really say, look, no more, this far and no further. I am a valid, vital, independent person who has a right to exist in happiness and harmony. Some may feel it in the chest because there is this lack of love and nurturing that is going on, that they can barely breathe and just want to escape. Some in the stomach, in the core, where the strength that's needed to stand up to another person just isn't there. Some in the back, where you're thinking, I don't have the resources to run. Some in the feet, where you become immobile, and this is where fright, in the feet and the hands, this is where fright really takes over and have you frozen to the spot. So you need to be still and find out, where in my body am I experiencing this emotion the most? Now, this is something you can do without anybody noticing what's going on with you, but it is very, very freeing. Once you've found where that emotion is, now you want to sit quietly and just recognize what it really feels like. Because this is the point where we're going to acquire the lesson that we need. The memory and the feeling has been there waiting for an instruction. So you need to understand what it really feels like so that you can instruct yourself how to respond. As you begin to experience the feeling, fear will arise again, but you need to be still, because the lesson has to be learned from this. How do I protect myself in the future? You know, even though there are people externally who can help you, like refugees and family members, you still need to learn this, because you do not want to be in a situation like this again to attract another person who's going to victimize you, discriminate against you, harass you, or abuse you. As you begin, now this is the beautiful part of this exercise, as you begin to become aware of the lesson in this and recognize what this feeling really is, it starts to dissolve. Now, caution, that moment of dissolving can only take place if you do not engage in a justification process. Now, this is key. As you sit and begin to feel what's going on, your mind will start to engage with that feeling. Oh, but yes, and when he did this or when she did that, and no. You don't want to do that. Not yet. You can look at that afterwards. Give yourself permission to go through the questioning bit after, because you've been questioning it for as long as it's been going on. You've been questioning it. So leave that for now and just go through the recognition process. Look at this feeling as though you were looking at yourself in the mirror for the first time, trying to recognize how your eyes are formed, the shape of your lips, the contours of your face. Look at the feeling that way. And as you do that, it begins to dissolve. Now, the magic is as it dissolves, you get an aha moment. You get to recognize exactly what was going on. And this is what your body does as a result. Your body goes, and that feeling is gone. But not only is the feeling gone, the emotion that was attached to the memory dissolves. One of two things can happen. You can either keep the memory, but why give the memory a freeloading ride? Or you can allow what the memory will naturally do. It will dissolve also. Now, as it dissolves, you will find that wherever the feeling was strongest in your body, that part of the body begins to relax also. Now, here's the key piece of advice I have for you. Find the strongest memory you have, or the strongest feeling you have. Because when you use the strongest feeling, it dissolves every other attachment to it. No longer will you be able to create scenarios where you fear the worst. I was listening to a lady once speaking about living with a narcissist, and when she had her aha moment, she would, because it was her accommodation, not his, she would, when he started, in her mind, see herself sitting down with a bucket of popcorn and see herself just picking them out one at a time as he went through his demonstration of her unworthiness. And she said at that time she realized none of this was about her. It was all about him. He was afraid. He was immature. He was ignorant. And so in her mind, as he went through his drama, she would just see herself just with her bucket of popcorn, just eating one at a time and watching the show. What happens then? Well, if there's nothing for this person to agitate, they soon have to stop. They change their track. It's one of the things that a person who hurts you does not want is the fact that you will wake up to who they really are. They don't want that at all. So, my friends, if you find, though, that you cannot do this on your own, and many people can't because it's something new, don't worry about that. There are people like myself around. Now, I didn't tell you who I am. I'm Jen Joseph. I'm from Releasing Your Confidence on Facebook. So pop over to Releasing Your Confidence, like and follow, and comment, and I will help you to work through this situation to your freedom of releasing your confidence, restoring your self-esteem. Right now, pop over to Releasing Your Confidence, like and follow, comment, and I'll be there to serve and help you. Bye for now. Bye.